Hi, everybody. Welcome to the second segment, episode 280 of Sold with Updike Pugh. I'm Jeff Updike.
I'm Weston Pugh. And this next segment, I know have heard a little bit in the news. It's what the NAR settlement means for home buyers and for sellers.
And I get probably no less than 2 questions at every group thing that I go to asking about this.
And Texas is a little bit different because we established buyer representation agreements decades ago.
Yeah.
And that's not the case. And I think that that's one of the biggest misnomers is that is not the case in all other 50 states.
That's correct.
And so because of that, I think that's why this punch happened and will feel different in other areas of the country than it does here. Because a lot of these things we got close to, but we didn't always do every time. And we're going to go over that.
And Texas has always kind of been a leader in some of these things in terms of consumer responsibility. I mean, I feel like the Real Estate Commission has always done a really good job in protecting the consumers. There are really 5 main things to think about because of this agreement. And the first is that if you're a buyer and your agent is using MLS, you will need to sign a written buyer representation agreement before looking at any property.
And that's the big thing, because that was always something that was done. But typically we would always give people like one ride around just to kind of get a feel for it. But now this is critical to be established up front. It's really important because this is when you're going to learn what an agent is going to provide and what expectations there are. And it will help that make the transition so much easier.
Absolutely. And one of the things that we've always done is, that we would continue doing is, if you're uncomfortable committing to a long relationship with us from a buyer representation agreement perspective, we are going to have you sign a buyer rep agreement just for the houses we show you, so that we remain legal. And that's the point. If you decide you don't want to work with us, you have the opportunity to go on and do something different.
One of the other changes that they've added to this is this buyer representation must also be signed in virtual. So it was before we were just doing it in real time, but now they're adding it into virtual, which makes sense, because if you think about it, how many times do we have clients that are either being brought from other agents virtually, or we're actually helping clients? It happens probably 1 in 5.
Yeah, I would agree. The kind of third point is, you don't have to have a buyer representation agreement signed if you're just looking at an open house, or you're just talking to an agent, talking to a real estate agent. You're not at that point. You've not established a relationship yet, and it's not until you begin asking that agent to actually take you out and start showing stuff.
Yeah, that would ruin an open house. It's already hard enough to get people to sign up.
Yeah.
All right. One of the other things that we want to hit on is that commissions continue to be completely negotiable. This is something that has in Texas has always been established as negotiable. So that's not anything that's really out of the norm. I will say that typically it's a 3 and a 3.
Yeah. So when you're finding an agent to work with, one of the most important things is to ask them about these written agreements and find out what have them send it to you blank. We're always happy to send one to you filled out that would just be for that one time, or for our longer term lifetime of work.
We hope you found this information. It's a little different, but it's not too much. And if you have any other questions, just let us know. We'd be happy to help you out.
And with that,
and
just remember, we want to be your realtors for life. When you're ready to talk real estate, you can reach us online, by phone, or by text at 214-377-2223.
And remember, we want to be your realtors for life.